Check this out. I just found this in the trunk. It was under the spare tire. And these are all the original handwritten service records for this vehicle. Guys, all the cars that you see in these videos are for sale on my website, www.woodsandbarclay.com. Enjoy the video. All right, guys, we're officially done with the front end rebuild. New bearings, cleaned up the hubs, new rotors, new calipers, new pads, shock, new ball joint, new outer tie rod, new center link, new Bilstein steering stabilizer, new outer tie rod here, new brake control rod bushings, new control rod to lower control arm bushings, and that was a lot of work. So what we're going to do now is get on a fresh oil pan, because we can see where this oil pan has a dent in it, and I don't like that. The car still runs fine. It's not affecting anything, but we want to fix that. And the way we do that, there are like 30 little Allen bolts around here. Now, these only torque back down to like 8 Newton meters. I mean, it is so small of a torque setting, but the way they keep it in place is just they put a lot of them. If you tighten them too much, you bend your new pan and it's not going to seal correctly. So let's go ahead and drain the oil and get that pan off of here. So changing the pan is going to let us go ahead and do the oil change service too. Beautiful. We'll just set that right there. What we're looking at here is the inside of the body of the engine. There's a rod right there. There's a main bearing cap right there. There's another main bearing cap. Here is the oil pump. That just is covered in oil. It lives in oil. There's the oil chain, double roller chain for the oil pump. That's how durable these motors are. They put a dual chain on there. And here's the oil pickup. And you can see right there, there's our nice clean screen. See how clean that screen is? There's no debris or anything in there. So we literally don't want to touch anything here. Well, we're going to wipe around the edge. We're going to clean that off and then put our new gasket and new pan up there. All right, let's go ahead and wash up those nasty old oil pan bolts. I just put them in a cup, stir them around. There we go. See how clean they are now? So let's go ahead and put this pan back on. Guys, you don't need to get it like perfectly clean. There can be like a little residue on there, but you just want to try to get the majority off. And you don't want to use sealant up here because this is it's a paper gasket and it requires no sealant. All right, guys, that is sufficient. That is nice and clean, and we have a smooth gasket surface. All right, so here's our oil pan gasket, and oil pan has been all cleaned up. nice and shiny. So we're just gonna get 2 bolts in there to hold the pan in place, and then we'll go around and we'll torque all of those to 8 Newton meters. The Germans, we need 47 bolts for the oil pan.
Yeah.
We need 47 very tiny bolts. That was
like,
a horrible German accent.
it's almost like Toyota, they do the same.
Alright, let's go.
Wunderbar. Wunderbar, as they say, yeah.
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 Alright, thanks man. That'll hold it until I can get the rest started. Cool. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'll probably put it on a time lapse here. Okay, we have all the bolts in. You can see that we have our spacer for the transmission cooler line. And we need to torque these down to 8 Newton meters, which is basically 70.8 or 71 inch-pounds, because my socket, or my small torque wrench, is measured in inch-pounds. That's it. It is not much, guys. Hey, remember the hood.
Oh, I'm not going all the way up.
Okay.
I'm only going up just enough to get the wheels out of the way so I can get to this bolt.
Ah. All right. There we go. Got them all torqued down. And we are good to go with our brand new oil pan and brand new gasket. Looks really nice. All right, so now that we have the new oil pan on there, let's go ahead and do a fresh oil change. There we go. And there's our old O-ring that we need to replace on the filter. And we'll go ahead and put our new filter on here, and we need to put our new O-ring on there too. All right, put our new O-ring on there. There we go. And let's put this back down in here. There we go. There we go. And that is snug. Let's wipe that off. And then we'll go ahead. So we'll do that. Then we'll take a look, see what that looks like. All right, we definitely have enough oil in there to seal the oil pan. And we can see, good. We have no seepage at all. And of course, we'll check that again after we run the motor. All right, guys, what we want to work on next. There we go. There's our sway bar end link, and you can see the boot is no longer intact up there. So basically, we got a 17 millimeter right down here. We got to break loose. There we go. I just broke that loose. And then there is a 17 millimeter right up there. We want to break that one loose too. There we go. We'll go ahead. There we can see our new, here's our old sway bar end link. See how the bushing's ripped? And that's just kind of flopping around in there. And I'm sorry, not the bushing, the boot is ripped. And the boot here's our new one. See how stiff that is? So let's go ahead and put that back up in the car. Hold our nut right there. And there we go. There's our right sway bar end link, and there's our left. So next we want to go ahead and start taking out the shocks, calipers, and rotors. And actually these rotors, Those are still pretty damn good, but I ordered a brand new set, and we're going to go ahead and change the hoses, calipers, and rotors, along with the Bilstein shocks in the back. All right, guys, you can see I'm on the back of the car, and we took the seat bottom out. There's just a button you press on the seat bottom. Let me show you that button. There you go. See that little, it's actually a red lever on both sides, and you just press that lever, and the front of the seat will detach from these brackets here. And then on the back of the seat, there is, you probably can't see it. Let's see. There it is. We have a bracket right there that goes into the side of the car. One in the middle and one on the other side. And then the back of the seat, there's clips right up here. And if we look through this glass, so you see there's the brackets on the back of the seats that go onto these clips. So basically, if you lift up the seat, it'll detach from these clips, and then you can pull it forward. And when you pull it forward, I like to put the seat belts around it to hold it in place. And then you can pull it forward, and right here we have our insulation. So we just disconnect our insulation, fold it down, and this is what we want access to. Right here, that's the access hole for the shock. And let me get my screwdriver. Hey, can I use your pocket screwdriver? Thanks. Here's the access hole. Come on. I need a bigger one. There we go. There's the access hole for the top of the shock. So we're going to take those two nuts off and then lower our shock through the bottom of the car to change our shocks. And then this is the access hole for the fuel sender. And you can see we can disconnect the fuel sender right here and use our special tool to screw that out, and that will allow us to clean the fuel sender. So let's go ahead and we'll go ahead and tackle that now. Okay. So you got to have this shaved down real thin like that, so it fits around here, and that allows us to get a socket on the top of here and break it loose. We can put that on here like that, hold the bottom one still. There we go. And that socket, or that nut, will come off. All right, so we're under the car now. You can see I've already taken one of the bolts out. I'm going to go ahead and take the other one out. And there we go. There's our shock. We're going to put some nice new Bilsteins in here. Let's go ahead and lay that one down. And there we go. That's why we just attached them from the top. All right, you can see we have the nice new Bilstein shock here, and Bilstein gives us all new hardware and bushings. Now, all right, so to install the bushing, it's very simple. Basically, you just put up, you got to thread it back through the hole on the top. Gonna find the hole up on the top. There it is, and then it fits right. All right, then we're just gonna thread in. I need the other one. We're gonna thread in our new hardware here. And then we'll torque that down, and then we're ready to go reattach it on the top side. All right, so as you can see, we've installed our bushing, our cover plate, and our lock nut. And let's just go ahead and tighten all that down. Now, I like to look at the position of the top of the shock to see if it's spinning as I'm tightening. It looks like this one is. So we're going to have to hold the top of the shock still while we turn it with a wrench. Right there. And we can hold the shock still. And then we can actually tighten it. Okay, now we need to remove our fuel sender. You can see I got my tool on there. There we go. It just screws out. And we can get the rest out by hand. So let's remove that. There's the tool. And then we'll screw this guy out. And we need to get a little catch pan because some diesel is going to flow out of this. So let's go ahead and finish pulling that out. All right, we got our catch pan here. There we go. These cinders are cleanable. So we're going to get it over the bench. We're going to disassemble it. We're going to clean it out to make sure there's no gunk in there from just years of dirty diesel going through it. And then we'll reassemble it in the car. So to disassemble these and clean them, I just modified a set of pliers and kind of shaved down the ends till it was a kind of a fine point. And there's a little nut right in here with some grooves, and you just get it in there and then you can spin it and it comes off. When you see it, you'll know what I'm talking about. So we'll set those pieces aside. And there we go. Now we can kind of pop it loose. Oh, good. This one's actually in really good shape. And I don't know if you can see on the camera, but there's 3 wires here and a bobber. And that bobber moves up and down on those wires. So what we want to do, we're going to go ahead and just clean off all the gunk from the bottom down here. I see it's a little dirty. But other than that, this is a very clean sending unit, and we don't need to really do much to it. You can see our bobber is working excellent. So to reassemble, you have a little notch right here. And that notch matches up with the notch right here. Just want to be careful not to break your metal, your little lines, the little metal lines in here. And we'll just slide that through like that. Line it up with our notch. There we go. Then we're going to put our plate right back here on the bottom, like that. Perfect. And put this plate right there. And then we want to screw our nut back on. Perfectly cleaned and restored sending unit. That'll last another 100,000 miles probably. Let's put it back in the car. Okay, when you're putting your fuel sender back in there, you want to make sure you include an O-ring. You want to put a new O-ring seal on there so you don't get diesel fumes up in the car. We just slide that back down in there. And there we go. There's our cleaned fuel sender. All right, so at this point, we've installed the new shocks. We've cleaned the fuel sender. Let's go ahead and plug it back in. There we go. And we'll put our cap back on there. And let's put our shock cover back on there. And we'll put it on the other side, and then let's get this back seat back in. Okay, we got our beautiful new Bilsteins and sway bar end links in there. Now we are removing the rear calipers and rotors, and we're going to go ahead and put some brand new ones on here. Okay, to remove the rear rotor, once you have the caliper off, it's pretty easy. Make sure your parking brake is not engaged, so you can slide it off here. And there we go. And you actually have your parking brake right here. And here's your hub. So let's go ahead and get our new rotor to install. And you'll notice there's a locating pin, a dowel pin right here. And that dowel pin lines up. Here we go. With the dowel pin on our new rotor. So there we go. Now let's go ahead and we'll crack loose this brake line and we'll put our new brake line on the new rotor and then reattach the line. Okay, there you can see our brake line back here, and I went in and wiped a little dirt away from the brake line. And we're going to get our line wrench in there. There we go. Came loose. I think it was in there. Now I'm just going to snug it back up a little bit so it doesn't leak. There we go. That one is broken loose. And now let's go ahead and get our new caliper prepared. Okay. Here we go. And here are our new ATE brake lines. All right, we get our punch here. Make sure it's lining up on the other side. Yep, it's lining up. Beautiful. And there we go. New brake, caliper, rotor, and brake line. So now let's go do the other side, and then we'll show you everything when it's done. Check this out. I just found this in the trunk. It was under the spare tire. And these are all the original handwritten service records for this vehicle. Look at that. There we go. 84 Mercedes 300 SD. Date 1385. Mileage 2094. Oil and filter 41685. Oil and lubrication and brake fluid. Wow. Oh, there we go. Like, then they bought it 829.85. So that must have been like dealer service there that they wrote down. Here they go. Oh, tail lamp housing replaced. So there must have been like a defect with their tail lamp housing, so they had it replaced. Balance rotate tires. Change brake fluid. Oil leak. Tighten oil. The oil cooler lines were a little loose, so they had those tightened. Adjust valves. Change oil and filter. This is so cool. This is like, there you go, 87. All right, this is something. Looks like they were chasing an oil leak right there. Replaced. It's like a fitting. Maybe it says fitting. Oh, there we go. It was the crankshaft oil seal. So that's the seal on the front of the crankshaft, on the front of the engine, back in 87. So they resolved that issue because it's bone dry up there now. Replaced the battery, left rear window mechanism, 88, 89. There we go. We're up to 29,000 miles. How cool is that? Anyway, all this stuff, 36, 47. They were servicing this thing regularly, like taking immaculate care of this car. Oh, here we go, 2000s. I guess that's when Costco appeared because they bought some tires. Oh, and I can see the owner is getting a little older here. See, the handwriting got really bad here. Oh, look at that. They replaced the seals in the transmission. That's awesome. That's probably the front, the pump seal in the front. There we go. Transmission pan removed, filter changed. This is great. And it stops there in 2011. But that's really cool. There's like 3 pages of original notes back to like 1984. So that's definitely going with the car. And we are done. So we have the new ATE caliper, ATE rotor, ATE brake line. We have our new Bilstein shocks. We have our new sway bar end links on both sides of the car. Man, it looks so good down here. I cannot wait to drive this car to the alignment shop. And all of the front suspension. Guys, look how beautiful that is. Is that just me, or is that beautiful? Am I the only one that thinks brand new front suspension, brakes, and rear suspension is beautiful? Look at that. That looks so good. New Bilstein shocks up here. All new hardware. That looks so nice. Oh, and I can't forget to mention our beautiful new oil pan with our new oil pan gasket. Look how nice that looks. All right. I've already put the front wheels back on there. I got to put the back wheels on there, and then I have to bleed the brake system. And that's going to be it. This was a 3-part series. We did all the suspension, all the brakes. We did the fuel sender in this video, rear shocks. That is all taken care of. Now we're on like the final home stretch to finish this car up. So going over to my buddy's Wednesday to have the AC system completely overhauled. They have the equipment to do that. I'm not licensed. I can refill a system, but I can't evacuate or disconnect a system, you know, that the Freon goes everywhere. And so I'm not licensed to do that. So we're going to do new compressor, new dryer, new O-rings in the brake system. I mean, in the AC system. That's going to be Wednesday. I think the alignment is either going to be, it's probably going to be Tuesday or Friday. And then we're going to move to the interior, do like, let's see, there's a window switch I think I need to replace, lubricate some window tracks, and we are on the home stretch. So stay tuned. There's probably a couple more videos coming on this car, and please like and subscribe. This is an amazing 300 SD. And as you saw in this video, it's fully documented by hand in a notebook that it looks like they bought in 1984. And I've got records that came with the car. I found the original window sticker in the trunk, so that's really cool. Anyway, like, subscribe, comment, call me, and email me, whatever. We'll see you guys next time. Take care.